is Kal Kat. Kal Kat's turn. This is a review of Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. It will contain spoilers because in order to explain the movie, it has to have spoilers in it. So, yeah. The movie is a cross between The Grapes of Wrath and 2001. Apparently, an original draft of it had leaked online, as well as stories about it having originally been for Steven Spielberg, but he passed on it. Story stars Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, and a couple of other relatively unknowns. They're well known, but the other ones aren't. John Lithgow's in it. And Michael Caine is in it. Yeah, a lot of the guys from Batman seem to be in it. But yeah, okay. The movie is about a future Earth in which all of the crops have failed, and all there is corn. Some critics pointed out what was the beer made of then? If it wasn't beer, it must have been corn beer. They should have said that. But anyway, I wasn't nitpicking that. I'll nitpick the other stuff. Yeah, the movie. Okay. Yeah, the movie is odd. The movie is typically odd and strange. It's Christopher Nolan being trippy and doing sort of a nod to 2001, Forbidden Planet, a number of other things. The original script had a feel that was more like Arthur C. Clarke's 2010. Originally, the original script had them competing with the Chinese to get to the alien planet, and the aliens were aliens, not existential life form humanoid things. They were aliens, and they were just trying to get away and from Earth. They'd been trapped in the Earth solar system. It had nothing to do with the humans, which is more messed up. And there was no Dust Bowl thing. It was just not there. It was just a space adventure. They apparently added that to make it sound more like a modern parable of global climate change. So anyway, the main character is his father on a farm with his kids. He's called Cooper, but that's really his last name, which is kind of confusing. And that comes up later when the daughter is also called Cooper. The daughter and the son wants to take after the father and run the farm, but really the father's real identity was a space astronaut, and he crashed his ship, and now he lives on a farm. So he was an astronaut, and apparently this town has gone backward in education and medical history, and is now making up stuff about education and trying to hide it. How they have books, I don't know. Why they would do that, I don't know. But basically, this Cooper character and his daughter Murph take off on an adventure after this drone they captured leads them on this adventure. And there's a ghost or something that's giving her messages from the library, because libraries are haunted. And and then they find the secret NASA space station ARC ship thing, and basically it's being built by this kind of whacked out scientist dude and his friends in this NASA secret base. And yeah, as I said, spoilers, because in order to explain the whole movie, you kind of have to explain the movie. So yeah, it goes from there. Spoilers. But yeah, they go there, and oddly enough, Cooper completely agrees to go with these NASA guys, even though they were totally in secret and stuff, because he knew the old guy or something. And even though he crashed the last time they dealt with him, he's chosen as the one to save Earth because he's the main character, as near as I can tell. So yeah, him and Anne Hathaway are scientists, and they get in a spaceship. They leave Murph and Tom behind, the son and daughter, and the old man, the grandfather, played by Lithgow. they leave them all behind, and there's this tear-felt thing, and then they immediately take off into space. And yeah, Nolan's knack for capturing human emotion is a little heavy-handed and one-sided, because he really doesn't know how to write that. But we can't entirely fault him. He's more of a sci-fi fantasy guy, so he really doesn't. I mean, he does emotions. He just like only wants the intense ones. And yeah, they're like the end of the earth. Oh no, kind of deal. You know, that kind of thing is like wow, you know. So yeah, he did that. But apparently, the original story kind of didn't have that. But then off they go into space, and the last hour and some minutes. It's a very long movie. Is on space, but intercut with shots from the past. They head toward this wormhole that appeared 40 years earlier in the chronology of the story, near the orbit of Saturn. And they decide to go investigate the wormhole and then jump on this spaceship called the Endurance. And there's a third crewman with them. You'd think they'd bring more, but there's a third. And he's the token African-American character. And in every science fiction movie, the token African-American character at some point is going to die. And they do not disappoint. Although, what's really messed up is when they go to this, like, the first planet they go to is it's sort of a time warp planet, because it's an orbit of a black hole. Yeah, so there's a black hole, even though if a planet was an orbit of a black hole, it wouldn't have an atmosphere. But, yeah, yeah. And another thing, the black hole, the wormhole, connects another galaxy. So like Forbidden Planet and like all the early sci-fi stuff that this is, and 2001 a little bit, it's taken after, let's have it not be another solar system, it has to be another galaxy. They're also thinking Stargate. And it's like, it doesn't have to be another galaxy. Another solar system is still cool. You know, across the galaxy or something, or another part of the galaxy. Why another galaxy? That makes it even more ridiculous. But fine, okay, another galaxy. I never did a story in another galaxy. But Nolan did. Here is, and then yeah, they go to this planet that's all pretty much a water planet where the waves are moving really slowly, and 7 years passes per hour on the planet. So they're down on the planet for approximately, I don't know. Well, they didn't do the math right there, but they were on the planet for 2.5, 3 hours. So when they get back to the ship, 23 years have passed on the ship. Now, oddly enough, the black guy's still alive. I don't know how he ate any. There's nothing to eat except the protein packs from the O'Neill colony left on board. He could eat the ovums and sperms and eggs to survive, I guess. He probably didn't though, so I don't know what they did. I don't think he did that. But that wouldn't be much protein after, you know, I don't know how he survived. It doesn't make sense. But, yeah, maybe they were thinking of ice pirates, where they aged really fast at the end of that one, when approaching a singularity. Yeah, I used to think of ice pirates. Yeah, that was a comedy. But, yeah, black hole, ooh. And so, they get back to the ship, there's a singularity there, and they decide, well, they got enough fuel to get to this other planet, but not to... They got two choices, one planet or the other. And they decide to go with the planet where they think this other scientist is, and it's a guy named Man, and he's Matt Damon, and he's like sealed him, and they go there to this other planet, which is an ice planet. Now, what's odd is they have communications with Earth in the movie, even though they're in a wormhole on the other end of the galaxy. How? They never explain that. Apparently, somehow, they are able to transmit probe data and stuff back to Earth over those years. Now, what's screwy is, if that's true, then the black guy should be able to transmit back from the singularity during that 23 years and send for help to come and rescue him. But they didn't do that. Yeah, maybe he just never figured on that. But they did figure out the singularity, and they went to the other planet. When they get to the other planet, they find Man on the planet. Man, Matt Damon. And he's apparently gone space happy. This is an obvious scene, even to me, and it's like, guys, really? Space happy dude, 2001 Forbidden Planet dude, okay, fine, it's crazy. Like, yeah, and locks himself up there. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see what's going on here coming a mile away, and he tries to strand them, and they go back to the ship. Spoilers. There's spoilers all over this review, so yeah. but in order to explain the story, because you just can't do it without the spoilers. So then we go from there to they manage to get back to the ship, but man tries to suffocate the captain, Cooper, and but he is rescued, and then man steals the ship and blows up he booby-trapped his robot to explode, and he took the ship. So they have to take the other ship to go back up to their mothership. They have shuttles. They have one ship and two ships called Rangers. They're shuttles. And they look like something out of Distant Destinies. They look like canary ships. Anyway, but they go up into space. And I would have done stuff like this in high school. I would have been like, oh, 7 years have gone by. Well, they were going superliminal. I did a story like that in the 90s in the college. And then I realized later on, that's not good storytelling to do that. Because then your characters back on Earth are stuck with realizing, oh, hundreds of years go by or whatever. And it just doesn't work. So I don't do that. So I decided to take out all the time travel elements and chicken and the egg thing stuff from a lot of my stuff. Some of it's still there though. The Distant Destiny's final book has a lot of some of that's still in there. Parallel universes and stuff. So they basically Hathaway's character wanted to get to this Edmund's planet because her ex-boyfriend is there, or her boyfriend is there. And she's gonna do that. And as they're escaping with the mothership, which has been damaged during the man's attempt to get back, which failed. Spoiler. Cooper decides that he will jettison himself in his suit into the anomaly, the black hole, while the other ship rockets around it, which would spaghettify him, as some people have said on the net. Yes, deGrasse Tyson and Hawking also said it. He wasn't the first person to say that. He made it popular. But yeah, he would have been killed. But apparently, the aliens that have been, and the ghosts, wink and whatever, have been following this guy the whole time. And they catch him as he hits the event horizon. They have built a tesseract, a mathematical cube that is in 4 dimensions, including space-time. And they've built it 5th dimensionally so that he can see time in all iterances through all time, like in the wormhole in Deep Space Nine, the wormhole aliens. Same thing. They've been watching Deep Space Nine, and they've been watching Stargate, because there's Stargates. But yeah, and little Star Trek. So you got to throw in the Star Trek. You got to have the wormhole there. But the wormhole black hole, yeah, they've been watching Star Trek too. Yeah, and he doesn't die. He ends up in this tesseract thing. He's got an incredible air supply. It goes on for the longest times. He's got a lot of air in that spacesuit, even though he didn't have much on the planet when that guy tried to mess with it. Yeah. And he survived that somehow. A planet with an ammonia atmosphere. That would have killed him. Immediately. Like, once you, breathe out and you have no air, you die. It's like, wait a minute, you're not just going to be, drowning or something. It doesn't work that way. Dead. Anyway, so, yeah. But anyway, he's in the Tesseract. He's in the alien, with the robot. He's got the robot tards in there. Tards. Yeah, tards or whatever. And the robot's in there with him. The robot looks like a big blocky thing that transforms into another big blocky thing. So yeah, it's sort of a Hal-like thing, but he's more funny and doesn't try to kill everybody. The other one tried to kill people. The other one blew up. Well, but man may have made him a self-destruct device to make him blow up. But yeah, it's very odd. Meanwhile, this is interspersed with much older version of Murph Cooper, who is the daughter, who apparently learns that from the deathbed of the evil. Well, the scientist isn't evil, he's just misguided. The scientist on Earth, the old man, he dies. But on his deathbed, he says, oh yeah, this equation I worked out doesn't work. Spoiler. Yeah. But she manages to figure it out. Spoiler. And what really doesn't make sense is how she figures it out. Apparently, Cooper, her dad, who is lost in time, space-time in this tesseract, now has infinity in front of him. Now has the strands, the back of the bookcase, all of space and time. He's in there, so he can do whatever he wants. Doesn't think to go back to the beginning and stop everything from happening. No, he tries to convince her to stay, which is part of the plot point. Tries to convince her he's a ghost. He tries to convince her other things, you know, to along. But apparently, somehow he can't alter the course of time. Time has to stay forward. Even though technically he can observe and make changes in the past. Apparently not affect all of the past, which is very trippy. Apparently that was not in the script, the original story. It was more like, ooh, the existential alien thing, whatever, and the alien rescues the guy. But yeah, I'll have to read that officially sometime. I read a synopsis. But the it would have been more like E.T. if they'd done it that way, meets Terminator. And I don't know if that would have worked all that well. I think I like this version better, just because it didn't do that. Because yet another E.T. Earth to Echo thing would be kind of, eh. It's more interesting to make it a Dust Bowl thing, I guess, and make it space aliens and being the guy from the future or whatnot. If he in fact is the guy from the future, I think that actually it is still the aliens. And they're not humans from the future. He just thinks that. The robot's in there with him. The robot's like, well, I don't know if that, you know. So what it probably is he's not really from the future. The aliens are just showing him the timeline so that he can make changes if he wants to. But his idea for making changes and giving her the code is to code the changes on the second hand of the watch, because Nolan loves talismans and symbols, and so she can Morse code it. And it's like, Morse code? Really? In like the 22nd century or something? Come on. How would anybody even know how to read it? Da 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 da. That's SOS. But yeah, how would anybody then know how to read it? So yeah. And now I must briefly finish my review of Interstellar. Alright, in closing, the Interstellar isn't really a bad movie. It's an epic for 2014. I wouldn't say it's Oscar material. I'd say it's on a par with Gravity in terms of its science and emotional content. You know, the emotional content in Gravity was as forced as the emotional content in this, so why not? It's a science fiction, nerdy kind of space movie. Yeah, it's what the other ones were. It's like, I don't think it's a problem that the emotions were like that, or that like, ooh, the dramatic stuff. I think, yeah, if it had been Spielberg that directed it, it would have been different, but it would have been the same movie. So I don't know. I don't know if that would have worked. And he would have probably included more of had all of the people in it. You know, and that probably wouldn't have been as good. Would have left out all the space stuff. Had like a little bit of the space up at the end. Yeah, he wouldn't have gone for all of the physicist alien planets and stuff. All that Star Trek stuff. Oh. Yeah, he would have been all about the people on the planet, and there probably wouldn't have even been a space voyage. Now, it's about the journey, not the destination. Come on. But yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Inception.